Welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. This is the 2 Belgian Rye IPA. Yeah, if you haven't seen part 1, go check it out. I'll put it up here. You gotta see it because I explain everything. I'm trying to make this as quick and as short as humanly possible. We've got lots of tests going on. It's a big brew day. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. I learned a ton, even more than what we were testing for. So let's get brewing. Okay, as you can see, we have 2. Yes, 2. It's gonna be a rough day. I've already screwed up a few things and I've been recounting and retesting everything to make sure that our grain weight is identical, our water count is identical. I mean, everything is measured perfectly between both of them. I'm gonna put the brewing salts in. I have a couple of these to help me with timing because, like I said, it's gonna be a lot of testing between the 2 units and we're gonna see where we are and see what the difference is, if there's an impact. So let's go ahead and put our brewing salts in. Second brewing salt. Okay, this one has the feet and I got the small batch adapter in there. Go ahead and lower that bad boy in there. Make sure you don't hit the feet. We have 2 pounds of rye in here, so you can better believe I'm gonna be putting in my rice hulls. Sprinkle them across the top, they'll blend in. Actually gonna go a little heavy. Okay, I've got the timer going. We're on for our approximately 90-minute mash, 75 at 150, and then we're gonna move up to 168 for 10 minutes and sparge out. It's sitting at a 149, I'm okay with that. I got it at 50% temp, and we've got this one heating up. I can't have them going at the exact same time just because I can't do everything at the same time. I don't have help. So that's why I've staggered it a little bit, and we'll mash in there shortly. Okay, we're at the 15-minute mark. We're almost getting ready to mash in over here, which is good. I was hoping to be at least 20 minutes apart, maybe more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm simply gonna stop the pump. See if I can do this without burning myself. Bring this down. Grab this, which is probably nice and hot, and it is. Grab a rag. And I'm lifting it up. And then I'm gonna just set it back down nice and easy. Nothing special. Okay, I say that and then it doesn't set down. There it goes. And put it back the way it was. That's it. And in about 5 minutes, I'm gonna take a pH and a gravity reading with a 155 hydrometer from Brewing America. Turn the pump back on and resume. Okay, we're at temp here. I'm gonna let it sit there for a few minutes so I can get that information, read it, and it'll put us about 20 minutes apart, which is okay. I did see the temperature dropped. I forgot to watch for that, but hopefully we'll look back on the video and see how far it dropped down. I'm leaving it at 50%. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get mashed in here just like I did the other one. I'm dropping in 2 scoops of rice hulls. Bad boys love to float, so I always figure put them where they can't do much floating. And put them on the top and let everything sit on top of it. Okay, I'm gonna start that timer. That's for that one. It's the 30-minute mark. I'm thinking that's all I'm gonna do is a 15 and a 30. If it's not blended up by then, I don't know what to tell you, but you could do every 15 minutes. You could do 15, 45, 75, you know, and I thought about that too. But I'm just gonna do one more and we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna turn off the pump. Here we go again. Ready? All the way up. And then all the way back down. That's it, nothing special. We'll give it about 5 minutes to get some circulation going, and I'll take a sample. Basically, we're gonna kick it on up to 168. We're at 150 now. It should take about 5 minutes to get there, and we'll be there for 10 minutes before we sparge out, which I need to heat up my sparge water. We'll also kick up the power to 100%. That way it gets there a little faster, and we'll drop it back down. Okay, it's at 167. It's gonna hit 168 here any second. So I'm gonna bring my power back down so I don't overshoot too far. And instead of using my propane, I'm gonna go heat up my water in the house where it's cool. It's that time to pull the grain basket up, get ready to sparge. I got the water heating. It's almost to temperature, so we should be good. Turn the pump off. Okay, we're doing it, and this is the feet. Missing a foot. Okay, I just learned something really important with the feet. Know where they both are located. I thought they were both over here and one was over there and one was over here. So you got to know where they're located so you can kind of lean it a little bit back. Does it lean? A tiny bit. Do I think that's bad? No. Do I think that's good? Actually, yeah, because it's going to push all the wort into one corner, which is going to kind of, that extra weight of the liquid against it will push as much out as humanly possible. Other cool thing is I can see inside. I don't see the markings because I think they're to the back. So, you know, I may have to spin it around a little, but that's okay. But it is draining really well, which I was very happy. Nice and hot. Nice sweet wort. Okay. And the temperature always drops when we do this, so I'm not too worried about that. I am going to crank it up to, well, no, we're going to do what we did last time on both of these, especially with all that rye. We'll be safe than sorry. I'm going to let it finish, stay up around 168, rub the bottom, and then we'll crank it up to a boil. I just have to, whatever we do on one, we have to be consistent with the other. So it'll add a little time. I think I'm going to get lucky on no rain, but hopefully I get more clouds to cover that sun. That sun's killing me. Yeah, we'll leave it alone. We'll let it drain. This one's only got a little bit more, I think 15 minutes or so before we got to start moving it. Sparge time. I got some hot water sitting probably about 171, 172, but it's probably 170 by the time I go to pour it in. Okay, 166, 167. This is still dripping, but I think it's going to drip for a while, as it always does. Huh. That'll work. It's sitting in there. I'm not having to worry about it. So it's all good. The other one will sit because it has the little 4 prongs that stick out, kind of like mini feet instead of 2 feet. I'm going to go ahead, rub the bottom here, and kick the boil up. I don't feel too much down there, so I think we're going to be okay. I did feel a little bit, but... Okay. We're at 168. I'm going to kick it up to a boil, and we'll do the countdown once we hit the boil. 100%, 212. Let's rock on. I'll get the defoamer ready just in case. I think I've got like a minute left on this bad boy, so let me go check the sparge water. And no, I haven't drilled the feet on this one yet, so I have the ring, which is hot because it's been sitting in the sun. Ow. Okay. I think that's one of the tricks, is lifting it perfectly straight up. If you don't, that's where you have problems. Like I said, perfect. And very heavy. Okay, we're at 202. It's getting ready to boil. We should be good here in a second. Over here, I'm getting ready to move it. It looks like the dripping is slowing way down. Got my defoamer ready just in case. As you can see, just getting ready to break. Probably a couple more degrees and we should be good. Bottom feels good. I don't feel anything rubbing. Okay. We'll go ahead and crank that up. Get that up to a boil. Okay, here we go. We've got some foam going. I'm not even gonna waste my time. I'm just gonna drip a bit of the 5-star defoamer. That's all you need, 1 drip. And let's stir before we end up with a big old gusher. There we go, and it's starting to break. The defoamer let me down for the first time, but just dropping a little cooler wort on top of it broke it apart, and now it's okay. I'm gonna start the timer. The boiling's doing well. Okay, so we got a 90-minute boil, and we've got a 10-minute addition towards the last 10 minutes. Luckily, I came back out because my foam is building up again, which is never good. Do not want to run this below 100% if I can avoid it, because I'll have to do the same over there. Okay, here we go. The foam is building. Oh, crap. I'm going to just do 2 drips. I'd say you should never need more than 1, and I got technically 3 in there, but hey. It's going down without much effort. Give it a second and watch it again. Oh, I'm breaking. Come on, you can break. We're only at 208, but you know, 240 gets a good boil going. A really good boil going. There we go, it just broke. Much faster than it did over here. Not complaining, although it's not at 212 yet, it's still getting there. Once it hits 212, I'll start the timer because we played over here for a little while and I want to make sure it's as even as possible. I know somebody might go or cringe, but I'm running both of these on 240 on a single 240 30 amp breaker. They're not supposed to use more than 12 amps each, so I shouldn't blow the breaker. And so far, so good. Okay, we're at 212. I'm gonna hit it. There we go. We got a countdown. Once we get 10 minutes before the end of the boil, we'll drop our hops in, and then we'll start dropping everything else in the last 5 minutes. And then I get the fun of trying to cool them both down. We'll see how that works out. Okay, so we're at the 10-minute mark, 10 minutes before the end, and we've got all the crazy hops we're dumping in. I'm just putting them in a bag. I figure it's just easier. We don't have to worry about any kind of basket. I'll drop that in there. There we go. So we're good. Got, literally it's the 10-minute. It's 1 ounce of Apollo, 1 ounce of Idaho 7, 1 ounce of Saz, and 1 ounce of Mosaic, which smelled amazing. So we'll let that go for 5 minutes. Then we'll drop the Wort tablet, start chilling it down and rock and rolling. I got to go grab that stuff and get ready. So we're at the last 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead, drop a Wort tablet, a little yeast nutrient in there. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this bad boy in there, but I'll give this a quick stir. Kind of killed my boil there, but that's okay. It'll come back and then we'll turn it off. Check my timer here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and kill it. Crank the water on. Here we go, temperature's already dropping. Let me make sure the water's on full. There it goes. Actually, it's already on full. I forgot I did that. So I was gonna have to turn the knob. Okay, we're at 97 Fahrenheit down there, cooling down. Last 10 minutes of the boil, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop the hops. Same exact 4 ounces that we did in the first one. Same method. Okay, we'll let that go for 10 minutes, and last 5, we'll drop our Wort tablet, throw in the yeast nutrient, and drop in the Jaded. Hoping this gets down cool enough, I won't have to take the other one out. I can just move it over there. Okay, last 5 minutes. Here's the Wort, some yeast nutrient. Okay, we've got the Jaded Scylla running there on the hose. This one's only to 87, so I'm gonna put it up to the recirc and put some ice in here and we'll be good. Rock and rolling. Not sure why I didn't think of this sooner. Okay, we're at 78 Fahrenheit. The yeast, something like 68 to 75, but max temp out there is 85. So I'm gonna go get my 5-gallon plastic carboy that I can measure things easier because it's pre-marked, so I can verify I get 5 gallons and we'll go from there. Whew. Yes, it was a very, very long day. Technically, it started last night and sliced my hand open. Not a good start. Got very close to basically a big vein, which is not good. Cutting this open, the filter, which I'll put a picture of what this is. I never really had a big desire to buy one of these, and Anvil sent it to me, full disclosure, and honestly, it did a great job. I'd heard some negative things, some things about it clogging. I didn't have that problem. It did a great job. It kept a lot of gunk out. When I looked in the bottom of both of the Anvils, there appeared to be more gunk in the one with this than in the one without. This is the one without. This is the one with this. To me, they look about the same, but visually, when I was pulling everything, this looked better and looked a little clearer. You know, time will tell. We'll see. But did a great job. I had 2 issues with it, nothing major. One was when I went to use the wooden paddle to rub, I forgot it was down there and I hit it and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So I pushed it around with the wooden paddle as I verified that I didn't have any rye stuck to the bottom. And then when I went to put my Jaded Brewing Scylla in there, I could feel it kind of hit it a little bit, but it didn't have a problem. It was fine. Had I done a small batch, it might have been a little more in the way, but it did a great job. It's a little weird. You got to kind of put it in and then flip it down. But yeah, it's just an additional filter. It's very flexible. It does have a few rough edges here and there that could hurt you, so you got to be careful. But overall, it did a great job. So keep watching. We're going to do some more experiments with that. The feet. I may hold off on putting the feet on my other one a little longer. I want to try something. The feet, it held great. It didn't do anything goofy.
The one thing I did notice is that when I was actually sparging, it has a little bit of an angle. So the liquid runs to one side. So I may try to stick a wedge of something to see if I can level it out under the actual anvil, just to get a nice level sparge, and we'll see how that goes. So I moved the beer to our conical. Thank you to Anvil. Huge kudos, courtesy of Anvil. And then to our Fermzilla pressure fermenter. I put the lower original gravity over here and the higher original gravity over here. Essentially, we did a test where I lifted the basket twice. The subscriber said only once at 15 minutes. I did it twice. I was gonna do it every 15 minutes, but at 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside, I was dying. I drank, I don't know how many waters, some tea, a couple teas, some juice, and ate more than I normally eat. I was starving, sweating, and dying, not to mention cleaning and all kinds of issues, measuring water, having all kinds of issues. So needless to say, let me go over it real quick. At 15 minutes of the lift, 20 minutes later, 5 minutes after the lift, I checked pH gravity. The pH was relative, so we're gonna let that go, although it was a little lower than I expected, it's fine. Was 1.40 pre-boil. 30-minute lift, 35-minute pH and gravity. Gravity was 1.50, went up 10 points, pretty cool. Then on the one that I didn't lift, I kind of screwed up, and instead of measuring it at 20 and 35, I did it at the same time I did the lift over here. So it was off by 5 minutes, not a big deal. Ultimately, we still proved our point. So at 15 minutes, I had a much higher gravity and I didn't lift it. It was at 1.052. And then at 30 minutes, I had 1.060, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And then a light bulb went off, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Over here, I'm lifting it and I'm diluting everything because I'm pulling, the theory is that there's all this dead space of water around the actual malt basket. And that water is not circulating like it needs to. It's just kind of sitting there. So the theory is when you lift that, it pulls that down and forces it to get into circulation and pulls some of the other water back out. And you do it again and it does it again. It pulls some of it out, puts something else back in its place. So it's forcing the water to circulate. Sounds pretty cool. And you're thinking, but it's fine because I've got the circulation. And in theory, that sounds good too. But his theory was that if I lifted that in 15 minutes into the mash, I would get a higher original gravity, and it would help my brew house efficiency directly with the mash efficiency. So, you know, I've been doing it occasionally, but I never really thought much of it until I finally got 2 anvils, and I'm like, woohoo, time to test it. Yeah, no lift, original gravity. And it was bouncing close to 65, but 1.064. That's a 76.7% brew house efficiency, which is great. Nothing to go, that was great. And that also means that if we get to a 1.0, let's say 1.2 final gravity, that'll give us a 6.9 ABV. Pretty cool. Over here, we were at 1.067. That's an 80.3% total brew house efficiency with the mash being directly 80.3. That's freaking awesome. And instead of being 6.9, if we hit the same final gravity, we'll be at 7.3%. Yeah. Like I mentioned, Dr. Hahn says that pressure fermentation does not subdue esters or phenols. Maybe I have misunderstood, but I watched a video recently where he said it does not. So I want to test it. I'm curious. I'm wondering how many other people don't believe it does. And I don't really know it does. I assume it does because the majority of people doing lagers at higher temperature are saying it tastes great. And I've done a higher temperature one that wasn't pressure fermented, and I wasn't that impressed. So, and that's with the 3470 that everybody thinks is amazing under pressure. So I have my tilts in both of them. I have my floating dip tube over here. Over here, we're going to do a gravity transfer, so I'm not worried about any kind of floating dip tube. And I've got to put my little stopper up there and everything. And then I need to pitch my yeast. Now for the yeast, I have backup. I like to say I always have backup. I technically do, but last time I did a dry yeast because I didn't want to do a starter. I have my 3 Taverns yeast that I stole like 3 or 4 years ago, I think 3 years ago. Still smells amazing, and I keep that going, and just, it's the reason I like Belgian IPAs, is I was introduced through 3 Taverns Belgian IPAs. I have White Labs 550, very, very popular. Smells amazing. Like literally I'm dying to use it. But I know the Ardennes yeast from Wyeast 3522, when I did the one from Flying Dog, Raging, we'll call it Itch, it came out amazing. And it's not quite as crazy, but I know it can go up to 85 Fahrenheit if I want to push it. 75 is recommended as a max temp. I'm gonna let these ferment at room temp. I'm in a 3-story house. The bottom floor seems to hit around 70 degrees, 69 to 71. So I should be good because, well, heat rises and cold air falls. So it's gonna stay pretty cool down here. I don't expect them to get over maybe 76 max, which is okay. I'm good with that. So I'm also debating on how much to pitch, but I really want to pitch both, but I'm told if you stress it, you get a lot more esters, a lot more flavor, and I would rather do that than not. So I'm gonna only pitch one of these, and I'm gonna pitch half of it if I can find this stupid stir bar. So let's see here, and then let's see this one here. Yeah, this one's got more markings, so I can figure out what I'm pitching. I'm gonna blend it together just to get all the yeast up into suspension. We're gonna take this, I gotta get it right about there, so let's see how we do. Okay. Not too far from where I was trying to pitch. Pitched a little extra, but not much. I'm good with that. We'll tighten this down. I'm gonna put this at 5 PSI. I'm gonna let it rise on its own to 10 PSI. And we'll go from there. Hopefully that's, there we go, nice and snug. Super easy. And same thing. That should be the other half. There we go. And that way I have that for later to save and keep my yeast going. I'm gonna go ahead, I'll put the bung on here or seal it down, put it down somewhere near the floor. This is 60 pounds with 5 gallons of liquid, so keep that in mind. They make legs and the legs will elevate it so that you can have it on the floor and still get a keg under it. These legs are much shorter. This is 19 pounds. Your liquid is, if it's water, let's say, is 42.7. That puts us at over 60 pounds to lift. My back is already jacked up. So something to consider if you decide to get the conical fermenter. It is super cool. And I am not exaggerating, super cool. Best thing on the market for the price. Really, really cool. But it's heavy. Seriously, consider the legs. They've also got a piece, I put this over it, even though I'm gonna spray it later if I pull some yeast. I did that just to keep some of the dust and debris out. This shouldn't be on here, but I did it, like I said, to keep some dust and debris out so there's less to worry about. Sampling port, I mean, just really, really freaking cool. So I'm excited. We'll see how this comes out. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Thank you again for joining us here at Bitter Reality Brewing. If you got a question about something, let me know. If there's something that you're looking to purchase, I'll leave links down below on any and everything that was used in the video. You don't pay anything extra, but some of the video or some of the links are affiliate. They throw me a little chump change. Other ones, hey, they aren't, and it's just the way it is. And feel free to tell the vendor, hey, I saw this on Bitter Reality Brewing. Thanks, appreciate it. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you very, very much.